What's up, everybody? I'm so excited. Welcome to the Grammarly Text Editor SDK launch party. We are so excited you're here. How's it going, Rob?
It's going great, Lauren. How are you doing today?
Very excited to be here. This party, it's
Awesome.
going to be so hype. It's going to be a vibe. I'm pumped to be here. So as we get started here, I would love to know where everybody's joining us from. So where am I today? You know, your brain just gets dumber when you get on live TV, I think. I'm in Pennsylvania.
And
Rob, where are you coming from?
I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm in the East Bay, Walnut Creek.
Woo! So I would love to let us know in the chat where you are dialing in from. Okay, Nick, what's up? Nick is my boy. I used to work with Nick. So Nick's coming in from California as well. Hey, Nick.
Welcome, Nick. Thanks for joining me.
Let's see. We got hype. People are excited. Oh, here they go. We got a time delay here. We've got people from Wyoming.
Awesome.
Oh, Brian's on our team. Brian's coming in here from Portland. Mountain View.
Nice.
Vancouver. Oh, Rahul's on our team. So Vancouver representing Canada. We've got lots of California peeps here today. Love it.
Hey, Chris. I used to live in Lafayette. Good to meet another East Bay resident.
Yeah. Cool. We'll go ahead and start some intros here. So for those of you I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Lauren Schaefer, and I'm a developer advocate here at Grammarly. And my role is to help developers be successful as they add Grammarly's writing assistants to their apps. So I look forward to getting to chat with you in our community and here today and just helping you be successful. Now, joining me here today is my big boss, Rob, with a very fancy title. Let me make sure I get it right. We've got the Head of Product for Grammarly for Developers. So, Rob, can you tell us what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out, to be honest. I think what it means is that I get to spend most of my week talking to our customers, talking to developers, learning, getting to see all the cool stuff they're building with our APIs, and learning how we can build more for them. Learning what other problems we can solve for them, what other problems we can solve for their users. It's a lot of fun. I just love I love getting to see all the cool stuff people are creating with Grammarly.
I love that. So you're so customer focused, developer focused, and it's fun. That's how you get to spend your day.
Yeah, it's a blast for sure.
Yeah. So also got to promote. I would love to connect with you all on social media as well. So I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, and sometimes on TikTok. So you can find all the links there in my link tree. So, all right, had to slide that in. So let's talk about the Text Editor SDK. So we went live exactly 2 weeks ago today. We went from beta to generally available. Rob, can you tell me, why are you so excited about the Grammarly Text Editor SDK?
Yeah, that's a great question. It really goes back to our mission as a company. Grammarly's mission is to improve lives by improving communication. And that mission is that's personally compelling to me. I think we all know what it means to how hard it is to communicate effectively. Sometimes we all know how important communication is. I'm excited about the Text Editor SDK because writing, in particular, is challenging for many people, and we all spend our days writing, especially in this post-COVID time when we're working remotely. Many of us still, I know many of us here at Grammarly are. We're spending a lot of time on our computers writing all day. We're writing all kinds of different things, and writing is hard for many people. It's hard for me. Whether it's struggling with a blank page, or whether it's finding the right words, or feeling confident about what you're about to send, it's tough. Well, Grammarly solves that problem really well for people who can take our app, find our app, discover it, install it, get started using it. But there are so many other places where people write, and so many other contexts in which people write in. And the Text Editor SDK enables us to help users in all those places. I think I'm really excited to see all the cool ways in which developers are bringing Grammarly to their users, and tuning Grammarly for the unique needs of their users in certain places, and just helping users communicate more effectively wherever they are, and in whatever way they need. It's really cool.
It is cool. So we've been live, generally available for 2 weeks. We had a beta period for about a year before that, and so we're starting to see the SDK pop up in apps around the web, which is very exciting to me. I love to see it, and I was wondering if you could share some of that with us. Can you show us an
Yeah,
example?
yeah, I'd be happy to show you a couple examples here, and this is just a couple. So the first one here is this is GoFundMe's app. Many of you on the live stream are familiar with GoFundMe, incredible crowdfunding platform, and they had this challenge where many users, when they would go to start their GoFundMe campaign, would they would get stuck at the part where they needed to tell their story. It's just hard to figure out how to ask for help, how to get it across to an audience, how to feel confident that the message that you want to project to your community is coming across. And so they began experimenting with adding Grammarly to that campaign flow, and that's what they've done here. You can see I've got I'm in the fourth step of their campaign creation flow, and the step where I tell my story. And Grammarly is integrated directly into the writing experience here. I've got some sample text in here, and you can see that I'm seeing Grammarly suggestions integrated directly into this story. I can fix this. I've got an extra word here. I'm getting suggestions to improve the clarity of my writing by rephrasing sentences. So there are some easy additions I can make to. Yeah, Grammarly's just helping me get the message across really well here. So really cool experience. They've just seen a tremendous response from their users. Uh, you know, they kind of accomplished their goal here. We regularly see feedback from users where they say, "Wow, I don't think I could have told my story without this. Thank you so much. This gave me a huge boost of confidence." It's really cool to see. So that's just one customer. Probably another one that I think is really cool to look at is a app called Jasper. If you're not familiar with Jasper, it is an AI content creation product. So where Grammarly uses AI to help you improve the quality of your text, help you correct your writing, Jasper uses AI to help you generate some initial text to get started with, and then modify it as you go. And their customers tend to be marketers. These are people who really care about getting the words exactly right. And so their customers were asking, "Hey, could you bring Grammarly into this experience and just help us, do all our content creation here in Jasper?" And so they integrated Jasper. They did something a little more than GoFundMe does. They added Grammarly control to this toolbar up here. You can enable or disable Grammarly by just clicking this button. So if you don't want it to to give you feedback while you're writing, you can write here with it turned off. Then when you're ready, you can click the button, enable Grammarly. It activates on its own. And just like with GoFundMe, I can then see Grammarly's suggestions and suggestion to add a missing hyphen and improve some errors I have here. So yeah, it's a really cool app. Both of these apps are great. There are countless others really, and these are just a couple that got me really excited.
I love that. It's fun to see it popping up, and it's fun to see how it's helping users all across the web get their message across easier and better. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no problem.
So we're starting to see questions come in. So as you have questions, feel free to drop those in the chat, and we will answer them. So our very first question came in. Any plans to integrate the SDK into Visual Studio Code? I love that. So there's an unofficial Grammarly plugin, and you're going to get to meet the creator of it later today, Rahul. So I love that, and maybe we'll just put a mention here to Rob. Rob, can we get an official one?
We'll see. It's great to see the community's love for VS Code and for the plugin Rahul threw together. In fact, when we first saw the plugin online, we were like, "Oh, whoever built this, we got to hire this guy. He really gets it." And so that's why Rahul's on the team. And but yeah, no plans yet to officially support to bring the SDK into VS Code, but great request, and it's on our minds. Thanks.
Love it. Okay, one more question here. Yes, Nick says, yeah, this is being streamed to two different Grammarly YouTube channels. Yes, we are. So for one day only, we are streaming on the official Grammarly YouTube. Typically, anything related to developers is only going to be available on our Grammarly for Developers YouTube channel or our Grammarly for Developers Twitch channel. So if you want to make sure you see our content in the future, please be sure to subscribe to our Grammarly for Developers specific channels. I have a banner for that. Let's throw that up there. So be sure to find us, our Grammarly for Developers channels. One day only, special treat. We're on the big Grammarly channel too. Cool. Okay. So let's dig into it. What are we going to be talking about today? So our plan for the stream is that, let me hide all these banners. Okay. I know what's going on, you guys. I have it all together. Everything's fine. There we go. So the plan for today is you're going to get to meet the amazing team of engineers who built the SDK. So I'm going to bring them on one by one. They're going to share one of their favorite features with you, and we'll get to meet them. And I love that because as you ask questions in the community, you'll get to say, oh, I know who Rahul is. I met him, or I got to chat with David. I know who that is. So you're going to get a glimpse into the engineers and some of their favorite features, and you'll get to learn how to use the SDK. So we just met Rob. We're going to learn how to get started with David, how to get started with desktop apps with Kunal. Once you get the SDK integrated into your app, you want to know, okay, are my users using it? So we're going to talk about how to answer that with the dashboard. Then you're going to get to meet Rahul, who we've already mentioned a few times here, to talk about how to customize the SDK to match your app. Misha's going to chat with us about connected accounts. Brian's got some fun APIs that you may not know about. And we're going to talk about trusted auth and then the community with Andrew. So we've got a jam-packed schedule here. So very excited about this stream. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, Rob. Well, with that, I think we got to let the engineers talk now. So
Yeah,
thanks for joining us.
yeah, there's already been too much of me. Hey, everyone, it's great to connect with you online. Thanks for joining the stream today, and I can't wait to catch up with you in the chat. Enjoy the time with the team today.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Okay, I'm catching up on the chat. I love that. We love the Grammarly love. Thanks so much for joining us. Alrighty, first up, let me bring in David, if I can find him. There he is. Now, David, welcome to the stream. You're one of our amazing software engineers. You were actually our first engineer, right?
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, way back in like August 2020.
Wow. Very nice. And I feel like you've helped create this board game culture on our team. You brought your love of board games, and now we all play together every Friday. So question for the chat, what's your favorite board game that you play? And bonus points if it's an online board game that we can play virtually with our team, because we love to play together every Friday. So while we're waiting for those to come in, David, what's your favorite board game? What do you like to play?
Yeah, my favorite board game and my favorite bird game is called Wingspan. It's one that I picked up during the pandemic, and yeah, ended up playing pretty much every weekend with my brother and his family, just over Zoom, because I don't know if there was a digital version then, but anyway, we figured out a way to play it over Zoom using 2 decks of cards and sort of made it work with multiple cameras and things. But yeah, it's a great game, and it's very it's quite educational too. It helps you appreciate nature more. I definitely notice the birds around me more when I'm hiking or even just walking around Vancouver, sort of thing.
Okay, I love that you clarify that it's your favorite bird game. Is there more than one bird game that you play?
Oh, probably. I've played a lot of board games. I'd have to think about that. But this one's very focused on birds. You learn about their wingspans, hence the name. You learn about how many eggs they have in their nests, all kinds of details.
Cool. We're seeing love for Betrayal. Do you know this one?
Betrayal. It's just called Betrayal?
Betrayal at House on the Hill?
Oh, okay. I haven't played that one, but I know of it. And King of Tokyo is another one that we play a lot as an office game. It's a little bit faster, a little more, a little more exciting. So we played that whenever we get together in person at one of our hubs. We tend to play a lot of King of Tokyo.
And the Crew, that was a new one we picked up at the last team on site. That one was good too.
Yeah, the crew. Yeah,
Cool.
it's like a trick taking game, but it's fun because there's you're sort of building it up as you play along. There's all these different challenges to do as a team. It's very cooperative.
Oh, poetry for Neanderthals. I have not heard that one, but sounds like it's good for remote teams. So we need to note that down. Are you writing it down right now? Is that what's happening?
Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Yep. Note taking.
Cool. Note taking. Cool. All right. So love the board game chat, and keep dropping them in if you think of other good board games. Let's talk about the SDK. So I'm curious. Let's talk about how to get started adding the SDK to an app. Can you kind of walk us through that process?
Yeah. So if I share my screen here, you'll see I actually have an app all set up,
Nice.
and I can walk you through it. It's fairly straightforward. We have like a nice quick start guide that I'll show you. Yeah.
That would be great. So what does this app do?
So this is a sort of fictional app called Motivator, and what it does is let you share some motivational thoughts or quotes with the world. So you type it in up here, say who it's from. Here's an example of one that's posted. That's basically the purpose of this app. It's very colorful, meant to improve your mood and let you share it with the world.
I love that. I'm a fan of the pink theme, so I'm glad it popped up there. Cool. Okay, so I can imagine if you're adding inspirational quotes, you want to make sure that the writing is clear, it's correct. So how can we do that?
Yeah, so what we do is if you go to developer.grammarly.com and you're signed in and everything, you can create a new app, and we even suggest a name for you, let you create a new one. I already have some set up, so I'm just going to go in to Motivator here. And there's a bunch of things here. You'll get to see more some of these other things are doing later in the stream, but I just want to focus on setting up a new client here. So we have a nice quick start guide, and also if you don't like reading, I mean, this isn't a lot of reading, it's like a page of text, but if you really don't like reading and you want to see it all on YouTube as a video, there's some great videos here that you've recorded actually. And yeah, there's one for each. There's one for like JavaScript, there's one for React, there's one for Vue. And we hope to add more frameworks in the future. Yeah, but why don't I go ahead and add this. So I've got the app. In order to connect my my Motivator app to Grammarly, like first I need to go to my code here. So this is just like a very basic HTML page. I've got a script block at the bottom here at the end of the body. So I'll paste the script block that that I got from the UI there, and you'll see that there's a client ID identifying my Motivator app. So there's that. And then the other thing we need to do is whatever editor we're using in our app. In this case, it shows a text area. But if you're using content editable or even an input, you can go ahead and use basically just you're just wrapping that editor, whatever it is, with this web component that we've created. So let me go ahead and do that as well. So I'll just scroll up and find my text area. And I'll use this fancy way of wrapping it just because I don't like typing so much. So we've got.
Okay, I'm just curious. Is that a keyboard shortcut? How did you do that?
Yeah, it is a keyboard shortcut. VS Code. I don't know if it's the default VS Code one, but anyway, it's you can do, what is it? Wrap with abbreviation maybe. It's Command T. I have it set up as Command T. And actually, I didn't notice. I already had Grammarly editor plugin here. I just forgot to remove it from from before when I was testing it out. But anyway, that's all there is to it. If your app has an editor, you just add the web component. And yeah, shall we see what that looks like now?
Yeah.
All right. So let me make sure I saved. Yeah, I saved. Okay. So now that when I focus this editor now, you'll see the Grammarly G button pop up down here, just letting me know that it's working. Let me type something. So the bad news is time flies. The good news is that you're the pilot. Okay. So let's say I was going to post this one. And yeah, so as happens sometimes when you're, not totally focused on what you're doing, perhaps. I made a typo here and Grammarly caught it. Thank you. I actually have a choice here. I could say, the good news is that you are the pilot. I think let's use the contraction here, be a little less formal, and yeah, and then we can post that. So there you go.
We got a question. Can we change the language to be custom? Say something like Klingon. I love it.
Yeah, no, we don't support Klingon yet. However, we do. Yeah, we do support a few different dialects of English. So we've got Canadian English, which I use a lot, being in Canada, and we've got Australian and British. And actually, I don't know if it's totally public yet, but we're working on another dialect for Indian English. So
cool.
There you go. Yeah. And and so that's how that works.
Okay, so I'm curious. So it looks like this app that you created is on the free plan. Is that right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we're getting on the free plan. You get suggestions for things like grammar, spelling, punctuation.
Yeah.
I'm curious what happens if we were to upgrade.
Yeah. So we do have different plans. So as you said, I'm on the free plan. And so I'm getting sort of the essential suggestions from Grammarly. And then just like if you had the browser extension installed or something, these plans are quite similar to free versus premium. So we've got these other tone suggestions, engagement suggestions, like overused words. So yeah, let's use an overused word here. Like, I don't know, let's do, you are very beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But here's the thing, Grammarly's like, yeah, that's cool. Whatever, that's fine. But if I were to use something on the Plus plan, so here I've just jumped over to another app, which is on the Plus plan. And let me just let's just change this script block. That's the fastest way to do it. But really all I'm changing is the client ID here to be on this other app. Let's jump over here and refresh. And let's see. So now we're using a different app, which is on the Plus plan, and you'll notice Grammarly helpfully complains that very beautiful is a little bit, I don't know, it's kind of weak. And so I can change it to something like magnificent, for example.
I like that.
Yeah. And so that falls under, I think, the like engagement category. But there's lots of other categories here. There's inclusive language. If you're on the Plus plan, there's autocomplete suggestions. There's tone suggestions. If you're being aggressive with in something you're saying, then Grammarly will suggest you might want to soften that a bit, for example.
Yeah, I love that, because sometimes you don't realize how you're coming off until someone else reads it and you go, oh, that's not what I meant. So I love the tone suggestions.
Yeah, very helpful.
Cool. So what's amazing to me is like you were able to go from not having Grammarly suggestions in your app to having them in three lines of code in a couple minutes. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was a big focus for us when designing the API, and just making sure the developer experience was solid and not too painful.
Yeah. We got a question coming in.
Mm-hmm.
In the case that someone has Grammarly on their computer with a premium subscription while using a website that has the free tier, which features will be shown for the user?
That's a great question. I think we'll talk about that later, actually. We have the ability to, well, you don't see it here, but if I set up my client to allow, under connected accounts here, you can see I can actually allow people to connect their accounts. And yeah, so then if someone does have a premium account, they can get access to all of those nice features. But maybe we should save that for later in the stream, because I think Misha is going to talk about that.
Yeah, well, we will come back to that. Cool. Well, David, thank you so much for walking us through how to get started. I love that you were able to do it in just a couple minutes. That was awesome. So thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
All right. Bye, David.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Oh, there we go. We are moving right along. So David walked us through how to get started with web apps. And Kunal's going to walk us through what the process looks like if you're using a desktop app. So let me bring Kunal in. If I can find him. There he is. He's ready. He's looking at me like, why couldn't you find me? Welcome to the stream, Kunal. So glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me here, Lauren.
Yeah. So you're another one of our amazing software engineers. How long have you been with Grammarly?
I think it's about 3 years now.
Wow. What excites you the most about Grammarly for developers?
Right. So I think I've been like working with lots of product teams for many years now. And what's really unique about Grammarly for developers is the opportunity here. And I can work on a product and build and then like ship it to my customers. But with Grammarly for developers, all these people who are joining this live stream, they're able to use the things we built and then just like give it to their customers. There's just like so much more opportunity for impact. It just multiplies with however many developers we can reach. So that's very exciting to me.
That is so cool. You know what? I had never really thought about that, and that is amazing. Yes, the multiplier effect is awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk. So David walked us through how to get started with web apps. You're going to talk to us about desktop apps because the SDK also supports desktop apps. So can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, like just first of all, like what are desktop apps? Like how are they different from web apps, right? So what we're talking about here is like if you want to create an application for like Mac or Windows, there's some really popular JavaScript frameworks out there, and one of them being Electron, which I would use in my demo here. But really, like if you're using JavaScript to build your desktop applications, then SDK can directly just work. So we have some very similar APIs that you can use for you building your desktop apps.
Okay, so you mentioned Electron. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Electron is just like one really popular framework with which you can build desktop apps. So they would be running on your computer instead of in a browser, but you're going to be using the same web technologies like React or Vue. You have like HTML and CSS, and so it's everything is like very similar as you're building a website, but instead it's an application.
Yeah, so when I joined Grammarly back in January, I was not familiar with Electron. And then once I started researching it, I was amazed how many apps are built on Electron. It's very popular.
Right. Yeah. You would be surprised.
Yeah. Okay. So can you show us what the process looks like for getting started with an Electron app?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to run this one command over here just because it's a live demo. So I want to speed things up, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. So, I mean, first of all, like, what is the app that I'm going to be showing? So this is, if you have used this is like GitHub desktop client. It's an open source project. So I just cloned the code for this to show you all how you can add Grammarly here. So I'm here, like this is one repository and there's this commit, and I'm trying to write a commit message. And you see like, you can have like some embarrassing typos in your commit message, which can be seen by all of your colleagues when they're reviewing your code.
I hate that. Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, so you might want to add Grammarly here, and let's see what you can do. So if you go to like Grammarly for developers inside your account, and you can create a new application, and right. So you see like on the left, you have these clients. By default, you have a web client created for you. You want to go and create another one. And this time, just select the desktop option here. And really for most integration, that's all the difference there is. And then I know that the GitHub desktop client is using React. So I'm going to move over to the React instructions, and we're just going to follow them here. So as you can see, the first instruction is to install Grammarly in the project. And so that's the command we had just run. So you would see here, it's like npm install. We have done like yarn add, not exactly the same, which I just wanted to tell you, like, if you're using a different package manager, you can absolutely use that. And so like this project uses yarn, so I'm just using that here. All right, and then we're just gonna go into the code. Let's see. So this is like commit message TSX. So this is the file which powers that commit message workflow I was showing. And yeah, so we're just gonna jump to the next steps. And we're gonna copy things from here. And let's do this.
I love copying and pasting code.
Okay, let's see. Input. We need input. Okay, nope. Text area. Description, text area. Let's try to find like where that is, because live demos, right?
For real, yeah.
Okay.
You know it's real.
Yeah. Okay, this is the one. So these are the two text fields. Like one is an input, one is a text area, and
Okay.
we're just gonna, yeah. So as we can see in this example here, that you want to wrap around your text fields with this. So we're gonna copy that, and this is the input field.
So the code is a little different because we're using React, but it's the same idea. We're basically just wrapping a component this time around the text area.
And you can see like we have really nice integration with React. Like for example, here right now, it is not really wrapping anything. So like my editor is complaining that, hey, like the children is missing here. But we're just gonna easily fix that. There we go. So that's what we did. And now we are going to just rerun the like the build here. And then hopefully Grammarly would be magically there when GitHub opens again.
Cross our fingers.
Yeah.
And if anybody spots a typo here, please shout out in the chat, because you know things happen.
Okay. So there we go. You see this Grammarly button right here?
Oh, it's already there.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. It's already working. And hopefully the both text fields. Okay, yeah, there we go. Cool.
That's awesome. So once again, you were able to do it. So you had to do an install command. You had to, I guess you probably did an import, right? You imported it into your file.
Yes.
Wrapped the code editor, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's still amazing to me how simple it is to just get the default experience going. That's awesome. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for showing that to us. I love that, and I love how easy it is to get started, even if you're creating a desktop app. So thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, Lauren.
All right. Bye, Kunal. All right. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to get better at clickety clicking things. Next up, so once you get the SDK integrated in your app, you got the default experience running. You want to know, okay, is it actually working? Do my users like it? So Jason and Kirill are going to walk us through the desktop or the usage dashboard. So welcome to the stream, Kirill. Kirill's one of our software engineers. Jason is also one of our software engineers and a bit of a VR enthusiast. Jason, wake up.
Sorry. Yep.
Okay. We're all very curious. What is that? What were you just showing us?
Oh, this? Oh, it's a Nintendo Virtual Boy. A bit of failed Nintendo hardware from the mid-90s.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So mid-90s. And then does anybody else? I'm not familiar with this. Kirill, have you seen one of these before?
No.
No. Of course, Jason has this. Jason, is this an original one that you have, or did you like buy this on eBay years later?
Extra 92. This was purchased from a Blockbuster.
Oh my gosh, I remember Blockbuster.
Super 90s.
What games did you play on that?
Oh, I think they didn't have very many. I think there were only like 20 when the thing came out, and then Nintendo killed it off within the year. But it's wonderful.
Okay, I'm so glad you have your VR there. Jason, do you have a Power Glove?
I do, and it still works. It's excellent.
I don't even know these words that we're saying here. Okay, I'm glad that's a real thing and I didn't just click something random. So you know what that is. All right. All right, so that's a bit into Jason's world. Kirill, welcome to the stream. And you've been with Grammarly one of the longest of anybody on our team. How long have you been with Grammarly?
I've been working at Grammarly for almost 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I touched on and implemented many different projects and web services here at Grammarly. I like running ultramarathons, climbing, reading, and solving technical problems in engineering.
Oh my
Actually,
gosh.
Grammarly for developers has many complex technical challenges, and I joined the team a year ago. I'm so excited to have Grammarly for developers released externally.
Yeah, we're so excited about that too. What are some of the things that you've worked on while you've been here at Grammarly?
I think the most, complex and interesting thing is implementing Grammarly editor. I mean, when you can create the documents, store them, read them, and so on. But this
That's
was
very cool.
before, yes, this was before joining Grammarly for developers.
Yeah, and we're so excited that you joined us on Grammarly for developers too. Cool. All right, so let's talk about the SDK, what we're here to talk about. So as I mentioned, like once you have the default experience running in your app, you kind of want to know, is it actually working? Are my users using it? Are they accepting the suggestions? And the two of you work together to build an amazing dashboard. So I was wondering if you could just give us a look at it.
Sure thing. So
Cool.
if you've just created an app, you're probably used to seeing an empty dashboard as maybe the app's still spinning up or coming up to speed. However, at the very top, at the very beginning, is a real-time dashboard. Kirill worked incredibly hard to make this update with every single minute as new writing sessions are being created. So this will give you immediate feedback that your app is being used. To kind of show off what this dashboard can look like, though, we've created a set of fake data so that we preserve and protect the information that's flowing through our system. But you should know that this interface has been tested to over 1 billion words checked. So we know it will scale with you. We know it will give you meaningful insights. So this is a 4-hour graph of writing sessions over time. And if we scroll down, you can start to see the breakdown of users in your application, the number of users who are anonymous or connected, which you'll see more there, broken out by day, as well as user ratings that are coming into the system. So every time a user is presented 5 suggestions that they accept or reject, then we present a survey to that user and ask them how they're doing. And no matter how they interact with that survey, we make sure not to bother them again for at least 30 days. And that's also configurable in the Plus plans. And but it does give you very valuable feedback about how the application is working. Scrolling down, though, we get to some really interesting statistics. We also break down the kinds of suggestions we're providing and the ways in which people are interacting with them. And like I said, this is mock data, so it's just generating it randomly for the sake of this demo. But here you can see a breakdown of the types of suggestions. And if you zoom in on a single one, you can see how those suggestions are being addressed, dismissed, or if they're going unresolved. And this can give you feedback about the ways in which your users are communicating, and can also open up new opportunities for you to configure or tweak your implementation to get more value or provide more value, more meaningful value to your users.
I love this. And so anybody, as soon as you create an app, you can come in and see this dashboard?
Yep.
Amazing. So cool. And I think you said the top chart is that's updated. That's real time, right? Oh yeah, every minute.
Every minute.
Okay, and then the ones below are updated every 24 hours, so you can get kind of a more holistic look. Yeah, and Bori Mori says very cool, and I agree. You guys did an amazing job putting this together. So Kirill, can you give us just kind of a peek behind what technology is powering this?
Sure, Lauren. I will tell you about tech stack that we use on the backends. Grammarly uses Java extensively. We are using JVM-based languages to run significant parts of Grammarly and empower everyone at Grammarly to do the same. Today, we now have thousands of JVMs running in production on internal systems across the company. We collaborate closely across various engineering departments in Grammarly, sharing best practices, lessons learned, and expertise running Java in core and enterprise scenarios. Today, our compute platform is based on Apache Kafka and Apache Hadoop with data processing driven by Apache Spark jobs running on JVMs. We process hundreds of thousands of text check events per second.
What, okay, say that again. That was crazy. What stat did you just rattle off?
Hundreds of thousands of text check events per second.
That's amazing. Okay, keep going. I was just wowed.
Our foundational services within Grammarly suggestions use PubSub messaging built on top of Apache Kafka and RabbitMQ. Web services are written in Java, Clojure, and run on JVM. We use the latest Java 18 OpenJDK build. For dynamic configuration within a cluster, leader election within a cluster, and other consensus-based algorithms, we use Apache Zookeeper. We use AWS widely. We like managed services and databases. We use DynamoDB, S3, ECS, EC2, RDS, Elasticache, and many other AWS services. We like these services because you don't need to support them. AWS does it.
Yes.
For infrastructure, For infrastructure management, we use Terraform. So if you have any questions, feel free to join our conversation. Thanks.
Yeah, so if you want to kind of geek out over all that technology, you can definitely drop it in the chat. And if you think of things later you want to talk about, you can join our community. We have discussions enabled on our GitHub repositories. You can come in, you can start a discussion, go ahead and tag Kirill and just like geek out over all the technology, because I think y'all will have a lot of fun chatting, getting into the details. Cool. All right. Well, Jason and Kirill, thank you so much for showing us the dashboard. It was great to have you here. Bye, y'all. All right. What's next? Oh, y'all. Okay. This is going to be exciting. So we're going to bring in Rahul. So as Rob mentioned earlier, if you were here at the beginning of the stream, Rahul is a software engineer who joined the team well before I did, but he was developing the unofficial VS Code plugin for Grammarly, and the team was just blown away and said, we've got to hire him. And so we're thrilled to have Rahul on the team, thrilled to have Rahul here on the stream with us. Welcome, Rahul.
Hey, hello, everyone.
Cool. So Rahul, in addition to building this amazing VS Code plugin, you also are a Vue maintainer, is that right?
Yeah, I've been part of team for a while.
That's awesome. And I heard you have a talk coming up at VueConf, is that right?
Yes, so Vue Toronto is happening November 1st to 4th in Toronto, Canada. And I'm presenting a talk about TypeScript and Vue.
That's awesome. And can you give us a little preview? What are you going to be chatting about? Do they work together? Do they not work together? How do you feel?
Yeah, so I've been talking about like the state of using TypeScript in Vue, what are the options, how to adopt it, and like basically where are we with TypeScript in Vue. Cool.
Okay, so if you want to get in touch, learn more about Rahul's talk, you can find him on Twitter at ZNCK0. Did I get it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. All right. Let's talk about the plugin, what we're here to talk about. So in a lot of apps, the text editor plugin looks absolutely amazing using the default look. We spent a lot of time designing it. It looks fabulous. In some apps, it's like, ooh, It clashes a little. So can you walk us through how to customize the UI to match your app?
Yeah, sure. Let's get started. Okay. First thing, so let's put some text here. So by default, what we have is a light theme. And if your website is on a dark mode, you might want to switch the text editor plugin into a dark theme too. And it's easy by just setting a color scheme. You just define that your website supports dark theme. And we refresh. Now you see the G button is inverted, it's now white. And suggestion cards are in dark mode.
Nice.
And this switches with your operating system configuration. So if you have dark and light both, and like you toggle using user preferences, this will also toggle along with the user's configuration.
So you can pick whether or not you definitely want it in light mode, definitely want it in dark mode, or you want to adapt to the user.
Yes.
Amazing.
And we have docs for customization, and you can find how to configure dark theme, light theme. And you can have both dark and light on the same page. Like if you have a dark region, a light region, so you can have dark theme in the dark region, a light theme, light region. You can read on Grammarly docs / customization, and there's a section about light and dark modes. Okay, that thing out. Yeah, I was forced to remove my dark theme from my editor. So
that was my fault. You can blame me. I swear Rahul normally uses dark mode. We just couldn't read it. Okay. Rahul's a hardcore developer. He's a dark mode person.
Okay, let's jump into theming. So if you want to customize the cards to look closer to your app's theme, so you can do, we have a couple of variables you can configure. Let's copy this thing and like paste over here to see what we get. So we are defining a font family. Let's remove this for now. We don't need to change this. An interactive color that's used for buttons and all the interactive elements like checkboxes and stuff. A border radius that's being used for all the buttons, all the select drop downs, and the card radius is used for card border. So let's go this here and refresh again. Okay. So first of all, if I open this thing now, this doesn't have round border radius, and it's like more squared off. Plus we are getting.
Is that the card border radius?
Yes, this is
okay.
As well as here. Both of the card border radius, and like now it's not rounded; it's more square look. And our color is being used for the buttons, being used for checkboxes, being used when you hover on something. So it's like all the interactive elements are using the same color. I think we are using somewhere green here. Let me inspect this quickly. Okay, let's put it here.
Oh, I really liked the pink.
Yeah, I like the pink too, but we are trying to get it closer to that app. So
all right. If it were up to me, everything would be pink all the time.
Now this is closer to our app. Oh, we don't have round radius on buttons. Small radius. Let's do it 4 pixels. Okay. Another thing, the G button is way far from the editor. I want it closer. So you can use we call it the Grammarly button targeting API. It's another web component. So let's put it next to the title. So this is sign in, be motivated. Yes, here it is. So let's put it here. So it's Grammarly button, and there we go. Let me go. And if I click, okay, it's dropping the line. So I'll make it in line. Now it's closer
nice.
to, yeah. And this one side effect, if you see, this is not following the theme now, but our other cards are following. So to have same thing for this, we need to add styles for Grammarly button also. Okay.
I love how flexible this is.
And let's refresh. Now we have theme here as well as here. That's all. I quickly want to do one more thing. Let's say
Brad says, is there a dark pink mode? I think there should be. I think we should create an Easter egg that's just dark pink mode. Thank you.
Yeah, we have dark pink mode. Okay, so you can define all radius border is all four corners. So what I'm doing is like putting top and right and like this little bit. Let's see how it looks here. Yeah. So I have both
Nice.
round and so you can.
Oh, that's very fancy.
Yeah. So and you can apply these things separately. So this is still not rounded, and the session card is rounded. There are plenty of other things you can customize. We have a whole page on customization. Explore that.
Very nice. Cool. Well, thanks so much for showing that to us. And if y'all want to learn more about how to customize the Grammarly text editor plugin, you can join a stream we're having not tomorrow, but the following Friday, October 21st. And I'm going to be sharing how to customize the theme for every Taylor Swift album. I'm very excited about Taylor Swift's new album that's coming out. So we'll be celebrating and customizing the plugin to match that. So that'll be a lot of fun. So if you want to join us, we'll drop a link to the registration page in the chat. So cool. Rahul, did we hit all your customization stuff? Did we miss anything?
No, we went through all of them.
Fab. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you around. See you in the community for sure.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Rahul.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Next up, we're going to be talking about connected accounts with Misha. So let me bring Misha onto the stream. Hey, Misha. Oh, I think you're muted. There we go.
Here I am. Hi, Lauren.
There
How
you-
are you?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be. It's my first live stream ever. I think you can get me so addicted to this pretty soon.
Yeah, we're going to get you hooked. And you even got your festive party poppers going. I love it. You're on theme. Oh, and you're wearing your cute Grammarly for Developer shirt. You are totally ready to go.
On brand.
So, yeah. So you're our engineering manager leading this amazing team of engineers. And you've been with Grammarly a long time. How long have you been with Grammarly?
For 8.5 years. I'm competing with Kirill, you know. So yeah, that's a lot. And fun fact, I had my first kid born right before I joined Grammarly. And since then I had my second one. And it amazes me every day that by now they're already first and third graders. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. So you've got like Grammarly babies and you have like your bio babies. That's so fun.
Yeah.
So since you're a manager, can you tell me a little bit, are you hiring?
Actually, we are. And please check out our jobs page. We're always looking for talented folks to join the team, currently focusing on web front-end and back-end engineers. I should mention that it's very fulfilling and exciting to be an engineer on Grammarly for Developers team, and in fact, on any other Grammarly team. You get to work on a lot of hard challenges and ship meaningful features and improve lives. And a fun fact that many candidates get excited about, Grammarly has had a long-lasting tradition of regularly getting together during memorable and inspiring offsite events. Check out these few photos from the last few from Greece, Spain, and Rome.
Oh my gosh, so fun. Okay, we need to go somewhere fun soon. That looks amazing. I love the energy in that bottom right GIF. That's awesome.
Yeah, warms my heart.
Yes. All right, and y'all, you can find Misha on Twitter at Chernetsov, so be sure to look for him there. Cool. Okay, so we got to talk about the SDK. We've been talking about connected accounts. Somebody asked about earlier, like what happens if I'm using a premium account? I've been throwing around this term connected accounts. Can you just tell us, like, what does that mean?
Absolutely. So connected accounts is Grammarly for Developers SDK feature, right? What does it do? It allows you as a user to connect your Grammarly account to your application so that you can access full account features and suggestions such as personalized dictionary, style guide, and customization preferences. Yeah, also, as I mentioned, David covered a little bit earlier that if the app you're using with Grammarly SDK is still on a free plan, but you have a Grammarly premium account subscription, after connecting your account, you will actually get all of your amazing Grammarly premium features.
Oh, that's great. So even if the app you're using is not on the Plus plan, you still get all your features once you connect your account.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. And how about I show you how it works?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So let's say I'm a thankful motivator user, and I decided to devote my motivating quote to this wonderful service. So I come in and start typing. I start my day by opening Motivator and getting a full charge for the whole day, right? And as you can see, Grammarly Editor plugin is highlighting Motivator name as a spelling error. Doesn't know about this service yet. So my personal dictionary could be quite handy in this situation. And in fact, I, as a Grammarly user, already have added Motivator to my personal dictionary, as you can see here in my Grammarly.com account setting page. I also have configured a bunch of my personal preferences for my writing style, right? So now,
so I just want to clarify. So you're looking at, that's your personal, that's Misha's settings. This is not the Grammarly for Developers app settings.
Exactly.
This is you, Misha, your settings. That's what we're looking at here.
Yeah, as a Grammarly user, I have my account settings page where I can configure my Grammarly across all the possible places I use it, including my, adding my words to the personal dictionary. And so when I go back, to Motivator, in case the developer has enabled this connected accounts feature we just mentioned for their app, for their website, now me as an end user I can just open the Grammarly G button and press connect to Grammarly account. And what will happen next is our Grammarly's consent screen would appear, and there I can actually look at the kind of agree to what Grammarly offers me to do, which is like allow Motivator app to serve my personalized suggestions. I can also check out Motivator's privacy policy, and eventually I press connect button. And now what I can see is that both Grammarly has removed this spelling highlight out of the Motivator name because it's already in my dictionary, and also started to serve my personalized suggestions and also my kind of premium suggestions because my account is already on the premium plan.
That is so cool. So what does a developer need to do to turn on connected accounts?
Absolutely. Let me demonstrate. It's actually quite easy. So this is already a familiar place in Grammarly's Grammarly for Developers app console. So I'm already inside my Motivator app. And what I do is I navigate to this Connected Accounts tab. And here I just need to enable this Allow Connected Accounts section. And after that, I need to configure some fields that will actually be used on this consent screen we just saw. So I put my display name, I upload my app logo, and also add my homepage link and privacy policy link, and press save. And pretty much that's all you need to do for all the web clients. No code changes needed. A few extra steps are actually needed to configure your Electron client. And we have a quite detailed documentation for that in our documentation portal. So please check it out. The team has put a lot of love and effort to have it all covered and described very well. So you should be covered there.
Awesome. Yep. And we just dropped a link in the chat. So if you want to go check out that documentation, hit the chat right now. Cool. Well, thank you so much for walking us through that. I love the simplicity and I've never seen the dictionary thing, so that was cool. I'm so glad you showed us that.
All right. I was glad to. It was great to be on your live stream, Lauren.
Yes. And now that we know that you're going to be hooked, we're going to see you again soon, right?
Yes, absolutely. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, Misha.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see where we are here. Oh, you guys. Okay, I'm so excited about this next section. So Brian is a relatively new engineer on our team, and he has been digging into our APIs, and he's found some really fun APIs to share with you all, some like hidden gems. So welcome to the stream, Brian. How's it going?
It's great. Yeah, just like Misha, this is also my first live stream ever.
Ooh, you're going to be hooked. The first time is always nerve-wracking, I feel like. And then it's like, oh, I can do this. I'm hooked.
Definitely.
So let's show Brian some love in the chat and Misha because it's their first time. This is awesome. Now, Brian, I understand you are an avid reader. So question for the chat. What is a book you've read recently and enjoyed? While we're waiting for those to come in, let's ask Brian. Yeah, what's a book you've been reading?
Yeah. I've been reading everything Becky Chambers has written. So Becky Chambers writes some kind of like optimistic science fiction
Okay.
and kind of like a vision of, I don't know, a lot of it feels kind of like a post-scarcity world, and it's about the relationships that people are navigating, and it's very refreshing because it is a lot of sci-fi is kind of dystopian and sort of plot driven, and this is much more about, it's much more character driven, and it's about the people kind of, a lot of it is about kind of like found family, and it just feels like a big warm hug.
Okay, maybe I'll have to try that because usually I'm not really like a sci-fi fan, but that sounds like it could be my vibe. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Kunal's been reading A Narrow Road to the Deep North. Have you read? I haven't read that one. Have you read that one?
No, I haven't heard of that.
What is real? Okay. I don't think we're reading the same books. I just finished reading Book Lovers, which is a very fluffy, light book, and I enjoyed it very much.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I feel like I would recognize the cover of that one. Like maybe I've seen it in the store, but I haven't read it. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's fluffy. It's cute.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Let's talk about the SDK. So, right? I don't know, Brian, I'm all over the place. We're talking about the SDK. We're talking about the APIs that you love, right?
Yeah. Some fun options that you might not know about right away.
Okay, cool. So let me pull up your screen if I can find it. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Oh, you're up at the top. Here we go. We made it there.
Yeah. So I'm starting just about where David left us off with one addition that we're going to use later. So the first one I want to talk about is tone detector. And this is a pretty new feature for Grammarly. If you have enough text, it won't try and guess at your tone for like a quick text or something like that. But if we turn on tone detector, and I'm really missing in like a TypeScript context, it will allow me to autocomplete this. And over here in regular HTML, I have to get my spelling. I have to actually spell things correctly. So if I turn tone detector on and I refresh, and I have, because you need a longer, I think it's like 30 words or so section of text, I just prepared it off screen. So it's a little small.
Look at that cute little emoji.
Yeah. It will tell you what tone it detects in your writing. And you can, if it's not sure, sometimes it'll give you a couple of guesses. And then if it's a tone you're not happy with, then it sometimes suggests ways that you might change your writing, change what you've written to improve things.
I love that. Yeah, because sometimes you don't realize how you sound across, and then you go, "Oh, okay, that's not how I meant it. Let me fix that."
Yeah,
Or it'll
this
say,
is,
"You don't sound very confident," and you go, "Okay, yeah, I do want to sound confident."
it is first thing in the morning. I am too grumpy and I need to add some more smiley faces and like ask about people's days before before I write such direct words.
Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. I love that. Thanks for showing us tone detector. Okay, what else you got for us?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the other things you can do is and most of these are over here in the editor config. So here's tone detector on or off. The next thing I want to show is suggestion categories. So suggestion categories are, here's a big list of them, and we also have examples and better descriptions. So these are optional guidelines, like optional suggestions that you can turn on and off. So the one I'm going for today is the Oxford comma. I'm a big fan of the Oxford comma.
Yes, Team Oxford comma. I agree.
Definitely. So I am going to go ahead over to that same config. Oxford comma. I'm going to turn that on. And now when I come back and I type in, we went caroling with our dogs, grandma and grandpa. Sentence that probably calls for an Oxford comma, unless your dogs are named grandma and grandpa. And in this case, we're going to go ahead and get the alert. Oh, and I should have showed the before case. So if I come back here and I turn this off, and I copy this, by default, it's not going to suggest Oxford commas because it's kind of a stylistic thing. Do you want it or don't you? I think it depends a little bit on the region you're in. We're going to turn it on, and so we do get an alert about it.
Nice. I'm all for that. Team Oxford comma all around.
Awesome. Cool. So let's pick out one other of these. Let's go ahead, and I also prefer to be alerted if I'm using passive voice. So if I turn on passive voice, I didn't prepare an example for this one because what I actually want to show is that this is starting to get repetitive. Like this whole thing is, we're typing this whole thing twice. And you can imagine if I was setting a whole bunch of these, I might get tired of typing that much. So I wanted to show a different way you can specify the config. And that is in JavaScript, you can grab a reference to the plugin element. And just set directly on the plugin element config. This config takes those same properties as before. So let's go ahead and turn on suggestion categories. Oxford comma on, and passive voice on.
I love that. So you've got lots of options, different ways that, you know, whatever works for your app, you've got some options here.
Definitely.
Cool.
So if we have time, I have one more thing I was excited to show.
Yeah, show us one more thing. We've got time.
So the last thing is an API you may not know about, or a lot of people don't know about. I know that you do. We've talked about this already before.
It's one of my favorite hidden gems. Yeah. If you're going to show what I think you're going to show.
Yeah. So the plugin element emits a whole bunch of events. And just like a regular HTML element might have a change event, we're going to emit a custom event called document stats. And you can see there's a few others. So I'm going to come back over to the JavaScript, and I'm going to add an event listener for document stats. And here's my event. And inside the callback, I grab that readability score paragraph tag that I set up ahead of time. And sorry, I probably should have typed this ahead of time.
No, it's all good. Okay, so make sure. So you've got another element somewhere on the page called readability score.
I do, yeah. We haven't
Okay.
seen it yet because there's no content in it.
Okay, cool.
But it's just underneath the element, just underneath the editor. And we are just going to say that whenever we get a document stats event, we're going to set the inner text of the paragraph tag. So let's come over here and we'll need to refresh. And if we start typing, "Don't treat me like situation that needs to be handled." Is it working? I feel like it is not working. EV is not defined. Oh, I spelled it wrong.
Live demos, man. There we go.
No, looks like I called it EVT this time.
Hey.
Situation that needs to be handled. So readability score is just one of the things you can listen for, or you can access off of document stats. I did also prepare a longer section of text. The readability tends to go long or go lower when you have a longer sentence and when there are, I think when there's more obscure words, but I'm not, you can learn more about it. If we go visit what else is available on document stats, we've got readability score using the Flesch reading test.
Yeah, I love this. And so you can display this and help your users write better text, right? So there's readability score. I think there's also like a word count. There's lots of things you can do to help your users make their text better.
Yeah, and you can imagine using this API to say, like, give targeted advice like, oh, this is getting a little complex for what you're trying to write. Like, depending on your application, you might have more context on what someone is trying to work on. And if they're writing something for an audience of kindergartners, then maybe you want to make sure that you have a pretty good readability.
For sure. Cool. Okay, well, while you were showing this, we got some love for Grammarly coming in. So I just want to, Brandon says, Grammarly saved me in college. I love that. Yes. And Brandon, we would love to have you be part of the software engineering team. So please do apply. It's a great team to be on. And Brad says, I started to like Grammarly with the travel spots. There's a lot of love for our commercials. It's a lot of fun. So thank you all for sharing the love. Yes, and passive voice is hard. I think it's hard for all of us. Like sometimes it's just easier to write in passive voice. So it's a good reminder. So we love Grammarly. Oh yeah, here we go. My readability score is probably an average of 15 without Grammarly. I know it helps. It helps. It's refreshing to see Grammarly programmers still have typos. Yeah, it's real life. Who gets it perfect on the first try? I don't. I don't. Cool. Well, Brian, thank you so much for stopping by and showing us these. So if people want to check out more, I think the docs is probably the easiest spot to go look for these. But if you have an idea for another API that would be helpful, please do drop us a note in our community and let us know, because we're always looking to improve our APIs. Cool. All right, Brian, thanks so much for stopping by. We will see you around soon.
Okay. Of course. Thanks for having me.
Bye, Brian. All right, where are we, guys? Oh, okay. We're going to get to meet our other Brian. We're going to talk about trusted authentication. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. We've got you covered. Brian's going to explain it all to us. So let me find Brian, bring him in here. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Good. Hi, Lauren. How you doing?
Good. Okay, so I understand that like back in the day, you were quite the athlete. I clicked you away. You were quite the athlete, and you even went to Worlds for a sport. What were you playing?
I was playing Ultimate Frisbee. I was a very passionate
Ultimate
Frisbee player for years and years and years, and played with a team out of Boston and ended up being able to travel around the world playing it. in a bunch of different competitions. It was great.
That is so cool. Okay, so any other Ultimate fans out there, let us know in the chat. Where's the coolest place you got to go for Worlds?
Surprisingly, I ended up in Scandinavia a lot. So I was in Sweden twice and then in Finland, and those are pretty neat places to be.
Okay, David's calling me out because I said back in the day. I hope you weren't offended. I don't know how far back in the day it was.
It was back in the day.
It was back in the day.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so tell us a little bit about trusted authentication. What does that even mean? I'm throwing around this jargon.
Trusted authentication is a completely optional security feature that we have, and the goal is to help prevent paid plan abuse. So,
okay. So I guess let's just start with that. If you're on the free plan, do you need to use trusted authentication?
it would be a very rare case. I don't see a clear need for it there. It's definitely aimed at the plus and the premium plans.
Okay, so can you give us just a high level look then at what is trusted authentication? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me share my screen here. So in about a month or so, we'll have a walkthrough of it, a dedicated session to it. And here I'm just going to give you an overview. The basic idea of trusted auth is that we give control to you, the developer, over which of the users of your application can use your Grammarly plan, can connect to Grammarly. And the way we do that is by basically requiring that every one of your users who wants to use your Grammarly plan has to have something called an assertion. And this is all based on OAuth. And so the way this is going to work is that you would build some piece of logic, probably in your server backend, that can hand out an assertion. And you can choose who you want to hand it to. Do you only want to give it to your users who are currently logged in your system? Maybe only users in a geographical area. Maybe you want to give it to everyone, but you're simply going to throttle the number of assertions you hand out at any time to limit the number of people using your plan over a period of time. And so in this diagram here, you see your web app running in the user's browsers or on the machines is on the left there. And it's going to go and request an assertion from this server-side code or backend code, private code that you'll write. And you, if you choose to, will hand back an assertion. And then that assertion will be taken by your application and handed to Grammarly in order to get a connection to Grammarly and use your plan's features.
Very cool. Okay. So I feel like it's a little more complicated to set up than some of the features we've seen today.
It is a little more complicated, but we have really nice documentation to help you through it all. So you'll see there's like 3 major steps here, and I'll do a quick overview, and you can tune in a month if you want to learn more. The way this works is the whole thing is going to be based on public-private key encryption. That's how we assure that nobody can forge these assertions you're handing out to your users. And so the first step is basically you're gonna create a public-private key pair for your app, and you do that inside our developer hub that people have shown you before. And then the second step is probably the hardest step, and this is where you're going to build that back-end server-side piece that determines who you want to give an assertion to and gives it back to them. Luckily, though, we've written a couple really nice examples here, a sample of how to do this in Node, and we also have another sample of how you do it in Java Spring Boot, and you can copy from those to build your own. And then once you do that, the last step, this gives you an example of what the assertion will look like. So we got that all for you. And then this final third step will just be that you need to go back into your front-end code, that Grammarly editor plugin or the React component, whatever it is, where you'll already have your client ID, and you just need to tell it where this new back-end piece of code is, this server URL. And once you do that, then you're basically ready for testing at that point.
Awesome. Okay, so as you mentioned, this is a little more complicated, and we're gonna walk people through it in a stream on November 10th, right?
Yep, sounds good.
Good, awesome. So what we'll do is Brian's actually going to build it from scratch, so we can walk through the details and really dig in. So if you want to try it out before then, you can bring all your questions, or if you just want to show up fresh, we'll start from the beginning and walk you through it. So that you'll be ready to go when you're ready to try out trusted authentication. Cool. All right. Well, thanks, Brian, for joining us. We will see you again right back here November 10th.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Bye, Brian.
Bye.
All righty. We've got one last person to bring in today. And I'm going to find him. Where's Andrew? Here's Andrew. Welcome to the stream, Andrew.
Hello.
How's it going? Are you excited to be here?
I am, yeah. I'm excited for what I hope is going to be a recurring segment, which is props time with Andrew. I have my balloon here from the launch party.
Props time with Andrew. Tell us about your prop.
Yeah. Oh, so this is from a few weeks ago when we went from 1.x to 2.x. And I also have, because Pokemon trainer Nick is in the chat, my Pikachu and my Metang.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess I should give everyone a better idea what I do. I'm a developer educator, so I work on the docs with you and many other people, and also working with the community, trying to get all of your ideas, answer your questions, kind of loop product ideas back to the team.
I love that. And yeah, so I know you're very passionate about docs and open source. So, and I think you've got a project you want to share with us, right?
Yeah. So let me share my screen. Right here.
There it is. We've got this. Oh,
yep.
I love it.
Another prop, my link hat right here for all the links that I'm going to be showing everybody today.
That's amazing. Okay, so what's this project do?
Yeah, so this is just a compilation of documentation links and generators that I've used over the course of my career as a technical writer. So let me zoom out a little bit for everybody here. So if I imagine most people here are familiar with GitHub, have contributed before, but if you haven't, if you just want to make a portfolio site for yourself, GitHub Pages is a very easy way to get a website going in like 5 or 10 minutes, probably. And there are a lot of documentation generators that I've used before. RustDoc is great. RustDoc actually has a CLI command that shows you the number of crates that are covered. You can think of like crates like packages, for example. We also have JSDoc, which we use for our documentation site, and then some other links that I've used in the past, like a compilation of all the GitHub emojis and some other links to just documentation sites that I and others consider beautiful.
That's awesome. Okay, so if people want to contribute, are you accepting pull requests?
Oh, of course, yeah. I even labeled the topic under the Hacktoberfest topic. So if you want to do a PR and get credit, and I think they offer a free t-shirt for that, you're welcome to.
Nice. Okay, we've got a question. My family's very into Pokemon, but I'm not going to say this correctly. Where did you find a Metang? Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's Metang, but even I could be wrong. I actually got this at my last job as a reward for, not a reward, but like a team gift just for working on the project for a while. So I have no idea where this actually came from. So sorry about that.
All right. And then a comment from Cynthia says, I started watching and then the kids wanted to read the manga. So we're working through both. It's been really cool to get to the extra details from the books.
Yeah. We were talking about My Hero Academia and how we were both reading it, and how Cynthia here has been reading it. And yeah, I just couldn't wait to see who the trader of the manga was. That's something that was revealed very early on, that there was a trader. So that's been very fun to read.
I don't understand anything you just said, but I'm glad you two are having a moment.
Yeah, we are. Anyway, I want to show. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I say you and I are both very passionate about the community and making the developer experience as amazing as it can be. So can you show us some ways that people can get involved in our community?
Yeah, of course. The first thing I wanted to show off is the developer blog that we have. So Lauren, as you know, you've been writing great content here. So
thank you.
One great tutorial is how to turn on and off different elements. So the ability to turn on and off suggestion cards or underlines if you don't want to see all these suggestions and just have it be activated at the end of a session, and also the plugin itself. And I wanted to point out specifically our introduction post, which has links to all the different parts of our community. So we are on GitHub, we have a discussions board, and actually someone who submitted an issue said they were watching, so I thought that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that a few minutes ago. Yeah, so we have the GitHub, we have our new Twitter, we have YouTube, and just for everyone here who's on the main Grammarly channel, just please subscribe to the Grammarly for Developers YouTube channel. Because this is new, it just launched, and if you turn on notifications, then you'll see all the great live streams that we have.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, we are on the Big Grammarly YouTube channel today. So if you're joining us from there, thank you so much for joining us. But you won't find us there again soon. So please do hit like, follow, subscribe, all those things on the Grammarly for Developers YouTube channel. Links are scrolling on the bottom banner. Okay, back to you, Andrew.
Sure, yeah. And also a special shout out to Twitch chat, because I saw someone earlier, Bori More, was excited they were from Twitch.
Woo!
And figured you guys would like the Zelda stuff I have. So let me show you about the GitHub community here. So I think you already just sent the link. Oh yeah, that's you. Hello. But on our discussions board, you can create a new discussion, which from here you can share an idea, you can ask a question, you can show off something. So I've been reading the chat over the last hour or so, and there's been a lot of great suggestions. So Pokemon Trainer Nick suggested VS Code integration. Mark suggested plagiarism in the SDK, plagiarism checker in the SDK itself. Brad had a lot of
not suggesting that we plagiarize.
Yeah. Sorry. Brad, in addition to dark pink mode, suggested custom languages, which I thought was pretty neat. Yeah, so if any of you want to come here and share those ideas formally, that would be awesome. Otherwise, we see you, we hear you, and I've written down those ideas.
Awesome. And then, we try to get it all right, but sometimes, we have bugs. We're not perfect. Yeah. Sure. Can you show us what to do if you find a bug?
Yeah. So if there's a bug, you can go to the Issues tab here, select New Issue. And if it's just a general bug, click Get Started. If you found a security vulnerability, something that might qualify for a bug bounty, there are some other links, but just general, you found something that shouldn't be working the way it is flow. We just want you to tell us some details about the version you're on, the browser, the operating system, some steps that we can do to reproduce the issue, what you saw, and then what you expected to happen. And we also have some debugging instructions down here. So in your browser's console, just type grammarly.debug and then print the logs and share them. That'll help us out a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got all these different ways to report issues and have discussions. How can people find out what the latest releases are and what's coming out in those releases?
Yeah, great question. So in addition to Twitter and just looking on our blog and watching these live streams as they happen on YouTube and Twitch. Oh, I hear myself. Sorry. One second.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. Let me mute myself. Where is this coming from? It's probably coming from here. It's coming from Twitch. There it is. Sorry about that. Yeah, so your question about figuring out what's new, what's the latest and greatest. On our documentation site, you can go to our changelog. And so for major and minor versions and patch notes, we will post and append to this log, tell you what's new, tell you about breaking changes, tell you about new features. And every time we have an update here, we post to Twitter. And we'll also try and let you know about these bigger changes in the live streams like the one you're watching now.
Yeah. So whenever you open Twitter, you can see, like Andrew just said, there'll be notifications say the brand new release. Here's the link to the changelog. So if you want to get notifications, that's a great way to do it.
Yep. Sorry about before. When I was showing the Twitch, I guess that was the tab that I heard myself. So I saw some double feedback. Hopefully no one else got that but me.
We didn't hear it. All good. This is live. We're doing it live. That's what happens. Yeah. So I think we are wrapping up here. So we want to open the floor for questions. And I know we've been answering questions throughout, but we're going to hang for a few minutes. So if you have any questions about anything about the text editor SDK, please drop them in the chat. And hello, Jensen Plays. It's great to have you here.
Oh, hello.
Andrew, did we miss anything that we were going to hit with you with the community?
Let me think about that. There was one thing I wanted to say. If you're reporting an issue, those details will be public on GitHub as an issue. So if you have something private or urgent support that you need to talk about one-on-one, in the same flow that I showed you earlier, the bug report flow, there's a section there that tells you how to open a support ticket, just so things can be private if you want them to stay private, or if something's very urgent, you can surface it with us and we'll get back to you there. Aside from that, I just want everyone to, I want to invite everyone to join our community on GitHub. And if you have an idea, share it there. If you have something you want to show off, like an application, I already saw someone built text editor with Grammarly embedded into it, which is very cool. So we love.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you're there like every day. I see you commenting back and working with people. And I even saw this week, people reported a bug that we already like shipped out a fix for yesterday, which is great. So please keep sending us feedback because we love to get it.
Yeah, one of our first few bugs has already been in the last release, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, our Grammarly Insights emails are getting some love. Yes, I get my Insight email and I'm always like, oh, I'm doing great. They make me feel good about myself. So I love those Insight emails.
They're great. They teach you, how to improve in all the little things that they've noticed.
Okay, this cracks me up. My school blocked Grammarly thinking that it will stop the ads. That's funny. My daughter's in first grade and I had a GIF pulled up with one of the ads and my daughter started out loud saying the words from the ads because she had heard them so much in school and it was very funny.
Oh,
the kids love the ads.
If we have Rick and Morty fans, one of the latest episodes, actually, there was a Grammarly call out. One of the characters said, yeah, and how do I stop these Grammarly ads from playing? Which was pretty funny.
That's great. I've not watched Rick and Morty, but I'm a huge Community fan, which is, I think, also they're both Dan Harmon productions.
6 seasons and now a movie. Yeah.
I'm so excited. Okay, I can't wait. Yeah. Yes. Cool. All right. Well, I think with that, we are going to wrap things up. I want to thank those of you who have hung with us for the last 90 minutes. It has been a pleasure chatting with you. Once again, if you want to chat with us later, please do join our community on GitHub. It's our GitHub repository. You can find it at gram.ly/G4D community. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter. What am I missing? Twitch. Find us, like, subscribe, hit all the buttons. We appreciate you, and we look forward to hanging with y'all again in the future. So bye, y'all. See you later.
Bye.